here we go. And then we're gonna, one last thing is get the bolts on. So we need to open a bolt, and there it is. Let's drag that on there. And now let's go in here and line that up. And the bolt will be opaque. And we'll scale that down. Alright, and we're going to follow what we have here. Okay, we're pretty close. Okay. Just getting that fitted on there real nice. And so let's turn the opacity back up. Alright, with this, we are going to get rid of that outside part. So I am going to go to elliptical mode, and I'm going to go in right about there, and that will cut some of that nut off. Okay. Alright. It's kind of small, so it's kind of hard to see, so we're going to go in here and delete some of that. So we want to invert that. So there we go. So there's our bolt now. Okay. Alright, so there it is. That's our bolt. And we got a nice dark area behind it, which is great. And then it really sets it off. And then we're going to bring this back out. That looks really good. And then we know where the bolt needs to go. So once we got one, duplicate layer, and we'll just go ahead and I'm going to hold the shift key down and just move it down. And this other spot there, we go. And then we're going to go over here. We've got the same thing over here. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. And I'm just going to move that over. Again, we want to get that right in the center of that dark area there. You just kind of, there we go, that looks good. And then, again, we'll go ahead and hold the shift key down. But let's go ahead and copy that again. And hold the shift and just move it straight up. There we go. And you can just kind of nudge it with the arrow keys. There we go, like that. Now, let's see. We need to add grunge to that. So we might want to bring in that grunge and dirty it up a bit, or bring something in to dirty that up a little bit more, to make them look a little bit more rusted. But we could just discolor them. So I'm going to select this guy right here and see if we can't just do a color balance thing real quick. Just kind of fake it if it's possible, so I don't have to go to any more trouble. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Just make it look like it's oxidized. Okay. There we go. That looks better than it did. Not quite what I hoped for, but I could use just kind of a rust area for it if I wanted to, so I'll cancel that. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull in that rusty oil tanker thing again, and we'll just take a small smidgen of this. So let's find a spot that I think would look really nice. So I think right here would be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a kind of a rectangle cut here, like this, and just grab it and move it over here. And put that over top like that, and go to multiply, lighten, screen, overlay. Ooh, overlay looks pretty good, like that. Multiply. I think multiply looks good. We'll just turn it down. So I'm going to do multiply. We're going to zoom in. I'm going to kind of make sure it's highlighted, just kind of, whoops, and go in here. See if I can't move that around. There we go. That looks good. Just so it gets centered. Zoom in because I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, that looks good. And then what we want to do is just kind of cut around there like we did before. Okay, so and then we'll just cut, inverse that. There we go. So we don't just get the bolt. Select, deselect. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I like that. Okay, so we can go in there and turn the opacity down if we want to, or up. That looks good. So we got a nice rusty bolt. So do that for the rest of them, or you can just duplicate what you have here with the bolt itself. So I could take these two and go ahead and move them around if I want to. Or I can just go ahead and duplicate that layer for the rusty bolt. There's that layer, so I can just duplicate that. And move that down. There we go. It needs to be over top the other one. There we go. And just kind of move it till it's situated. And then we'll do that for the rest of them. So go ahead and duplicate that. Yep. And move that up above that one. Take that, move that over here, over top of that. Just kind of situate it. And then we will do the same thing with this one. And we'll move that above that one, like that. Alright, cool. And then we'll just hold the shift key on that, move that up. Alright, and that looks good. So we are completely finished with our map, diffuse map. So the question is, what do we do with that? Well, there's a couple things. You could create a diffuse map from this. So what I would suggest, since that, I think, alright, so file, save as, JPEG. There we go. Alright, JPEG, save that. Takes a while to save it. Alright, so once that gets done, then the next step is to, once we got our ambient occlusion on there, we got the bolts on there, everything's looking pretty good, we need to desaturate this. So I'm going to go ahead and, I could flatten the image, yeah, let's do that. And go to File, Adjustments, Desaturate. Alright, so anything bright white will reflect light. We really don't want to because the paint is oxidized, so I would highly recommend that we do something that looks like this as far as the levels go. Let's bring that down quite a bit. There we go. Let's flatten this out a little bit. Okay. If you keep it really contrasty, you'll get some fun results, but it'll be interesting to look at. Alright, so okay, just keep it a little darker. We don't want it to reflect too much. Alright, so we'll try that. See how that works. And click OK. So that is going to be our specular. Usually speculars are grayscale, so save that out. This does not need to be a PSD. We will do a spec map. Okay. Alright, so we'll save that one out. Alright, so we have a diffuse map, spec map. Let's take a look and see how that all works together. So just minimize that.